Hello, YouTube. All right, welcome back to another exciting episode of Denoy does Tim Burton style of renovation. I took what was some of the old framing for the house, and I'm just using pieces of it. But I'm going to be repairing the cabinet. Cabinet's in pretty bad shape, but until we get new ones, if we ever get new ones, I thought I'd go ahead and fix it. And you can see I have, actually, you can see since the last video, I have put up the walls. So the panels are up, although there's a problem with one of them right here. This panel right here, I came to realize after I put it up that there's a spot right here, about 10 inches, that had gotten wet somehow. So it's kind of like warped. And also, when I cut the hole for that, I had cut it a little bit low, so I pushed it in. Good morning, Kira. Hope you're doing well. So it ripped. But also this spot, right there, it's really not noticeable, but it might be after I put the paint on. So what I'm going to do is end up replacing that whole panel again. That's why you see that second panel right there. I had extra. So what I'll do is measure it to the correct height, then pre-cut the hole. I'll use the old one as a template. That's not an old one, that's a new one, but it was warped. It had a little tiny wet spot. Since I have a spare one, I'll go ahead and do that. You can see the wall panel is up. This side had, all the insulation was put in. One of the viewers, actually several viewers, suggested that I probably do want to go ahead and rip out this last panel. So what I did, until I can get the new panel, what I did was I designed it. I'm going to step back so you can see what's going on here. This last panel here, remember when we ripped all the panels out, it was so nasty behind it. It had, lizard poo and eggs and all sorts of stuff in the walls. Since most of the wall, actually like 90% of it, has been replaced, and this spot here, there's one last panel, maybe 1.5 panels, need to be replaced. I'm going to go ahead and plan to replace it. I just need to figure out how I'm going to transport a panel. But I built it, the panels, I cut it off there by the window so that there's a little patch right there. And that way, when it comes time, I can pull this whole panel off. But I'm not going to do that until I know I'm going to get a ride for the panel. That way, I don't have a wall exposed. So, that's a temporary panel right there, just to close off the insulation that I had installed. That way, this whole panel can be replaced and all that ripped up, nasty stuff will go away. So that's what the plan will be, is to go ahead and do basically all the panels that I had access to. And if I'm going to transport panels, I might go ahead and rip out these other panels. 2 more panels here, possibly more along the bottom. I'll have to consult with the missus and see. I mean, these look pretty good. They look to be in pretty good shape. So I'm not really sure I want to go through and rip everything out. It's just more work. The only reason for wanting to do this one is it looks pretty bad to start off with. Then I got to figure out the back section, what I'm going to do about the kitchen itself. But that's where we stand right now. And I did cut these things here. You can see all the, there's roach poo on there. those little brown spots you see here. I'm thinking they're poo. Roach or lizard poo. I cut it to size because, remember, there used to be a wall here. This whole section here had a wall that, separated the kitchen from the rest of the house. And we knocked down that wall. We took the power line. We closed off the plug. And we ran the line through the wall and gave it a switch down here instead of the dangling one. But that left this thing with a gap. So I closed it off with a panel. And it needs a piece on the inside. So I took one of the old framing, from walls that I had knocked down. And I'll be putting it in here like that. So that's going to go in there in the corner. And that'll give me something to screw or nail the I'm going to screw it into the wall. I'm going to nail or screw the panel into it. And that will help to hold the panel in place. So I got one for this side, which I'm getting ready to do. And one for this side. So that'll close off the gap too. And then that allows this to be used. And it's pretty light, so you can't put anything too heavy on it. But I'm hoping I can put some plates up there. It's not things that aren't too heavy. But I should be able to store some plates, silverware, supplies like maybe paper towels. I don't know, things you would use when you're eating. Because I don't know why it gets so dark here. I guess it's because the window's so bright. So that'll be done. I'm hoping by the end of this week, I won't paint this wall because I'm planning on ripping it out. Got to consult with the boss on this side. Might end up replacing all this because this looks pretty nasty. So, we tried to fix the holes, but probably going to end up ripping it out. And if I do that, it just means that when I get a truck or whatever, I can transport the panels. I'm probably going to have to get, like 5 or 6 or 10 panels. And then just rip everything out. But then that means more insulation again. Having to buy more insulation. So we'll see what happens. But the big concern I have is the kitchen. I gotta try to find cabinets to go in here as well as the sink. This water's messed up. Look how it trickles. Not only that, when you turn it on, it leaks outside. So the line, the way they got the water, it comes from the front, by the street where the city runs it to the street, and then they pipe it from the city, and it goes underneath the house to the brick building back here. So they have it going to the brick building. They have electric and water going to the brick building. And then from the brick building, I think that's how it's done, it runs to the house. The brick building, I think, was required for all the mobile homes in this area. Pretty much every lot I see here has a little brick building. So I guess before when they made the subdivision, every lot had a brick building where they ran power and water for the city. So it goes there, then it runs to the house. I guess it runs primarily to the back section for the shower. Then from the shower, I think it runs from there to the kitchen. I think that's how it's done. It's piped. But there's a leak under here somewhere because when you turn the water on, I don't know if it's leaking now. When you turn it on after a while, it gets really wet over here. So I got to crawl under there. I just dread doing that. I dread crawling up underneath the house, but we're gonna have to do that. So that'll be the plan to eventually get that fixed, get that replaced. But until I can get that done, I'm debating when I can do the floor and stuff. This is gonna be kind of a pain because once you have to turn off all the water and everything before you unhook all this. And the last time I tried plumbing in the bathroom, it was a pain in the butt. I had to buy so many, because I didn't know the right sizes, and it turns out mobile homes, they don't use regular size stuff like a house. They use some weird off size, like even the framing is the wrong size, the plumbing is the wrong size. So you have to get stuff specifically for mobile homes. Not only that, I don't know if it's because of the age also, how old it is. So the pipes and stuff were all wrong. Some people would say, well, just pay to have it all retrofitted, or you can retrofit it yourself. One, I'm not a very good plumber. Everything leaks. So I'm not very confident with doing water because you can see it leak everywhere. 2, it gets expensive. The whole point of it all was we bought the land with the house on it. We decided not to demolish the house because we wouldn't be able to afford a house. We couldn't afford a brand new unit. So the idea was to keep everything cheap. So a budget of $3,000 had been set aside for everything, including the back building. That's the roof's going to be expensive. So, so far we're kind of within budget, other than losing $1,000 due to the scamming neighbor. But otherwise, it's looking pretty good. I'm hoping that by this weekend, maybe I will have painted the ceiling, cleaned all this poo off the ceiling, and painted all of this stuff. So it starts to look more like more completed. And hopefully, I don't know if we're going to lay the floor down. This is the vinyl floor. I do want to point out something. Just an update on the bathroom. It's kind of a mess in here, so pardon me here. Remember how I painted the stuff all white with appliance paint? Well, I didn't prep it good enough, and look what happened. It started peeling. So, I got to clean it again. You can see it's all dirty. I need to bleach it and stuff. But Basically, the appliance paint did work, but parts of it, water got through and it started flaking out. I was going to go buy some more appliance paint to recoat it, but for some reason, none of the Walmarts, I went to like 2 or 3 different Walmarts, have that paint in stock. Some of you might have been running into that where you go into Walmart or whatever, a grocery store or supply store, Home Depot, and certain items are missing. They're like, don't have them. So I haven't been able to get appliance paint, so I might just get regular white paint if I can find white enamel paint. This time, though, I think I might sand down that area to try to make it, a complete covering, just to patch that so it doesn't look so nasty looking. But if you're wondering how it works, most of it worked pretty good. It's pretty solid. Remember, it was that nasty green before, the olive green, but then I made it white. Now, after some use, this has been what, I think about 4 or 5 months of use, kind of showing that I didn't prep it well enough. So if I were going to do it all over again, what I would probably do is sand the whole bathtub down first. Take a sandpaper and just scrub all the surface to make sure it's all rough, and then I would paint it. But knowing what I know about this paint, that appliance enamel, when you spray it, it was like it went all over the floor, it went all over the walls, it went all over my nose, it went everywhere. So wear a mask, definitely. I would be hesitant about using the spray. Maybe try brushing it on, even though it might not look so good. I don't know. Because the spray, even spraying here, I'm going to risk spraying it because it's just this little spot. I'm not going to redo the whole thing, just that spot. So I might risk spraying it, but I'll probably cover this when I spray. So it might get on this, and buy a new one if I need to. But I don't want it all over the bathroom. Now that, it's got the floor and stuff, you definitely don't want paint overspray spilling all over everything. But that's where we're at right now. Nothing's really done. Even the bathroom's not done. I'm thinking of putting, see how the bottom still looks all rough? I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's kind of rough. It's because I didn't finish painting it. And also, I'm debating if I probably want to put wainscoting, the little ridges, the wooden thingy to make it a little fancy. The reason is it's pretty nasty looking, so even if you paint it, you see the surface imperfections. If I put wainscoting on it, it'll look nicer. So I might do that. But like I said, I don't want to go overboard. I don't want to go, make the thing look high-end because it's not a high-end house. And the more high-end you want to make things look, the more expensive it gets. And, the idea is just to have a nice little place that's comfortable, affordable, and easy to maintain and just a place to come home and relax without having to worry about your bills and stuff, overspending on the house. Florida, the weather's been like really weird this past week. Last night it got down to like low 30s, maybe in the upper 20s. I woke up and had water on my windshield that had iced over. It had frosted. But now, today, I think it got up to like 76 or 78 degrees. So it went from a low overnight of about 28 to 32 degrees, maybe 33. Up to about 76 or 78 today. And right now, it's probably about 68 to 70 degrees outside. You can see them, and you can hear the birds out. So the weather's been really weird. It's been doing that the last couple days, and I think tonight it's supposed to get cold again in the 30s, like 34, maybe 36. But this house, here's the deal. I had disabled the built-in, it had central air, not central heating, probably central air conditioning too, but it was also old and broken. I took it all, I disconnected it, and I'm using window units. But when it got cold, the last couple of days, I'm like, holy schmoly, it gets cold in here. So I had the space heater that I use in the bedroom that I had bought from Goodwill. Let me show you that. And I have one in the bathroom here. This little one, remember seeing it in the RV? Bought that from Goodwill for like, I don't know, it was $4 or $5. I think you can get them new for about $30, $20 to $30. But I use this when I come to the bathroom. Sometimes I leave it on to warm up the bathroom before I come in here, but because it gets so cold. And the thing is, I leave the windows so that air can blow through so that you don't get mold, in here. So that's kind of an issue. It was really cold. I'm like, maybe I have to figure out something to do with the toilet seat. But then I think to myself, I'm like, I shouldn't be complaining because, just that, about 2 years ago, trying to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night was like a nightmare, because I was in the van. And it's like, if you had an emergency in the middle of the night, it was difficult, especially in the cold. If you're living in your van and it's cold outside and you got to go number two, it's not pleasant. So, anyhow, here's the bedroom. It's a mess. I'm going to show you the whole bedroom, but I got the this unit, which I wish there were more of. I'm going to try to find more of these. It's really nice. It's electrical base, and you just hit the power button, and you can adjust the temperature. Right now it says it's 66 degrees inside the house, but it doesn't get much hotter. At night when it was like probably in the 30s outside, this thing said it was about 60, and I had set it to 80. But it doesn't get up to 80. And, but it did heat up the whole room. I mean, when you come into the room at night when it's cold outside, and the rest of the house, this room feels really nice. But, I also have the windows open too, because I have ventilation going on. Remember the house used to have that, all that smell from the dogs, the pee, the urine, the cigarettes, and everything else that was in here. So I'm still airing it out, to try to increase the quality of the air in here. And lately I've noticed my nose hasn't been as runny from being in here. The first couple months when I was in here, it was kind of hard to breathe. I was breathing in whatever that crap was. But I really like this unit. And if I can find another one, maybe even two more, I'll put one into the living room and one into the other bedroom. Although the small bedroom, the small unit might work. But this is a really nice unit. It's like a little radiator. It doesn't heat up the whole place. It heats up mostly its spot. It doesn't have water or anything. It's just, I think electricity just goes through and it heats up those coils. But I like it because it's a big area. And, it doesn't have a fan blowing or anything. Now, the one thing I did find out when I tried to put two of them on, I can have this one on, and I can have the one in the bathroom both on, and it's okay. But when I took the one in the bathroom and this one out to the living room area, because I was trying to warm up the living room to sit there and watch TV, I had this on, but it wasn't warming up enough because the living room space is too big. And I had both of them on, and the circuit blew. So that's going to be an issue with trying to stay warm or trying to stay cool in here. I got to figure out if this second which AC units are connected to the same circuit. If they're all on the same circuit, that's really bad. So I can have one unit out here on this line. I think I tried to plug another one in. I don't know where I tried to plug it in. I don't know if it was here or back here. But I tried to plug in the little one, and it blew the circuit. So it's like, okay. So back here, they're all on the same line. So that means that I can't have two heaters. And when that blew, I was like feeling really sad for all the people out there without power or in really cold areas where it's like minus or in the teens, So, and if you're in like a mobile home and you don't have power, I was thinking of Janet, basically. That must be difficult, And I think she has a space heater that runs off propane. But, oh man, that's it's cold. It gets cold. I know it was cold in here, and I was very thankful to have the big space heater. I'm thinking to myself how grateful I was or am to have access to electricity. Because in the van, I remember when I was over up in what's that place called where all the old people hang out in North Central Florida, the Villages. You guys know where the Villages are in Florida? It's where all the old people go and retire. It's kind of a fancy little Disney town looks like Disney for grown-ups or senior citizens. Anyhow, it was 28 degrees that winter, and I was out there, in my van, living in the van, doing the knife gig up there, and it was so cold, My survival strategy then, was just basically I purchased a second sleeping bag. So I had two sleeping bags, and I put one inside the other, and then I slept with my pants, my clothes on, and a jacket. And I covered my head. I covered my head, I think, with the sleeping bag. I know it's nice and warm inside the sleeping bag, but whenever I had to get out of the sleeping bag, it was cold. It was like frozen cold because it's 28 degrees. In this house, I didn't feel frozen cold, but it was cold. In the room, it was nice and warm, but whenever I had to go to the bathroom, it was cold. And coming into the bathroom kind of sucked because right now the door's not there. So the little space heater here, it heats up the bathroom, but the heat goes out all over the whole house, and so it's not real warm. So my priority will be to get a bathroom door here. I might put up a curtain, a shower curtain temporarily until I can get a door, but the priority is to get a door so that it can hold the heat. I think that little space heater does belong. I might try to mount it up here somewhere, somewhat safer. But, it needs to have a space heater in the bathroom because no one wants to come in the bathroom if it's freezing cold. So, anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I'm reading here your comments. Janice says, need a new strainer for the faucet. I suppose I could use a strainer. It's got that little catch on there, but, and it's got this little plug, but I didn't put a strainer on there. And I didn't put a strainer here either. Maybe I do need one for the tub in case something drops in there. But I didn't bother. She says, Janice says, my house is modular and I have no idea how to replace anything outside of the original manufacturer's specifications. I think the key, Janice, if you need to replace stuff, is, well, it depends. Some people prefer to replace things with OEM or near OEM stuff. Me, I'm just like, I just put whatever works, so I make it work. Like, there was a wall here, so I cut that off and I had to plug that. So, and this is not an ice by any means. Look, it's kind of old and crappy, but, it was in the best shape of the cabinet. It's like this door will probably have to be replaced. Look at it, it's cracked. So I'll probably cut a piece of wood to the size. I'll use this one as a template, cut it and paint it white and stick it on here. Just use the same doorknobs. These are nice little cabinet doorknobs. So they're nice. But basically, if you let go of the rule of saying you have to make it look exactly like it was, then your creativity can run. So like even these walls, they're not really meant to be used the way they are. I don't think so. I don't think they're supposed to be painted. But I didn't want to get drywall because drywall would be heavier and for me a little bit more difficult to work with than this stuff. So I bought these panels, which you could put on as wood panels, which I had them like as wood panels in the RV, and they look pretty good in the bedroom. Left as wood panels. Originally I was going to paint them in the bedroom, but I left them as wood because it looked nice in there. But I don't want the house like this. This looks like it's from 1970s, when you have the wood panels. But when you paint them, it looks just like as if you had whatchamacallit, drywall. And then I put plaster and stuff here so to fill in the holes. It's not going to look perfect, but it looks before, and it was affordable and something I could do. I guess it's the other thing too. It's like some people think that they can't really do anything, and then they don't even try. My advice is try, and if it sucks, try to learn why it sucks so you can do better next time. Now, some people aren't very good at anything, and I'm not a very good builder, but I'm not afraid to build or cut. You can see my cuts; they're terrible. This is not straight. That's because I used a jigsaw. I didn't use a circular saw, which would make it easier to cut straight. I used a jigsaw, and it's not straight. But I don't care, because I'm a graduate of Tim Burton's building construction. I'm a graduate of Tim Burton's School of Construction and Design, which means it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be, look, this looks like crap. A real carpenter would say, you did a shitty job of cutting that. I'm like, yeah, I know. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to plug it in with more, I'm going to clean that out and plug in with silicone. And then I'm going to put the floor on it. You won't see it. So it won't look as bad once the floor is on it, So it's okay to not be perfect. And, if somebody wants to say, well, he did a bad job. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a bad job, but it's better than what it was before. And, it's the best that I could do given my circumstances and my motivation level. I can do a perfect job, but it's going to take more money and more time and better equipment. And it's going to take me really wanting it to be perfect. This house is not my dream home. Okay? This is not my dream home. This is a home, and that's how I view it. So, if it's something that's really important to you, yes, by all means, take the time to make it perfect. If it's just something that you're using temporarily, at least good enough, don't worry about it. Get it done. And if you want to make it better, you can make it better. But remember, usually making things better will either cost more money or take more time and more expertise, or all of it. More money, more time, and more expertise. I don't have that luxury. So that's why the wiring is the way it is. I just kind of twisted stuff and busted the hole. Look at that. That's not even a good cut. That's just me taking a pliers and ripping that hole out. Remember, I had a small hole. I took pliers and I just ate away at the wood, make it big enough to shove that stuff up there. Down here, I just drilled holes. It's not going to be straight. A carpenter, someone who's more skilled, will cut and make it nice and square and look pretty. Me, I don't care. I'm just like, the hole is just to shove that in. Then I'm going to put some surface plate on it, but make it so we can access it in the future if we decide to bring back the natural gas. Or if we sell the house and somebody says, does it have, it has natural gas outside, why didn't it have natural gas inside? It does. I just blocked it off, So I left it like that. And I'll probably leave access to this in case someone wants to put in a light, including me. I might put a light in, Mrs. might say, hey, let's put a light in there. Same with here, anything could be put here, but right now I just closed it all off. And you can see the wire right there looks nasty. I'm hoping to get a cover and then, run it up along here. But see, this is going to budge out, and I don't care. And if it's hidden like this, I don't think it should be too bad. The key is, I guess the key is not to be too critical. If you're worried about doing stuff and making it look perfect, then you never do it. I just say do the best you can, and don't worry about it. And, if you see what you did wrong and you want to do better next time, you'll do better next time if you want to. But the key is getting it done. I guess that's because of my background as a coder, programming. I know a lot of guys think computer stuff is really precise. And it is, to an extent. It has to be perfect or it won't work. But what happens is a lot of stuff gets released and it's not perfect. That's why they have all these updates. Because everything goes out with a bug, including cars, manufacturer defects and stuff like that. So even engineers, there's people that are really smart. Even the people who design rockets and stuff, they sometimes mess up. The key is once you mess up, if you do mess up, try to figure out what went wrong, and then you can try to address that. And, when I was a software designer, I still do some software, I would write stuff and make it work. Did it work correctly? Not usually, not the first time. So it would work, and then I would, test it and see if there was anything wrong. And when it looked like there wasn't anything wrong, I considered it ready to go. Phone's running out of power, so I'm going to have to sign out here. Let's see, Mobang says, 1 extension short cord from the bathroom. Yeah, I could do that. That's a way to do the heating and stuff if I really want to in the future. But for me, it'll be nice to test, it'd be a good way for me to test all the circuits to see what's all tied into the same circuits. The other thing is just, put a light bulb, a lamp on everything and switch it on and off and label everything in the end. So I got to find out what power outlets are all tied into the same circuit and just make sure they're not on the same circuit, and I should be able to run heaters and stuff. But once I know that, it'll be a little bit better. Like right now, everything's kind of a guess, it's like guessing. But at least I feel better right now. I don't know if you can tell that, because I'm like, hey, you know what? We're on that last leg of the journey of fixing this house. So maybe I will eventually be able to sit here and watch TV and relax and not say, man, I got to fix that floor. I got to fix that leak. There's always going to be stuff you got to work on in a house, but at least it's not going to be like this where it's like, man, you get one thing done and you got a million more to do. George, good to see you on here as well. Elaine says, I use a flannel sheet as a temporary door. Yeah, anything you can put over an opening will help hold the heat in. So I was thinking of doing that temporarily. I was thinking of getting even a stick or something, or a rod, a bathtub rod, and a cheap Dollar Tree curtain, just to have the water I mean, the heat held inside. Elizabeth, good to see you on here. And Kira. And Elizabeth said, it's your home, and that's all that matters. You're making yourself a home, and if you like it, that's all that matters. Yeah, truly, that's what it is. So those of you who might be afraid of starting your own project, whether it's your van build or your house or whatever, don't be afraid. It's yours. And, you know, if it doesn't look as good as you want it and you can afford to hire somebody who can do a better job, you can do that. But if you want to be able to fix it and do things yourself, you should do it, even if you don't know what you're doing. And some people say, well, you're doing it wrong. There is no wrong, okay? There might be a standard way to do it. You can look it up, Google it, go on YouTube, whatever, and learn from watching other people. But honestly, a lot of people who build things, like me, they just do whatever. Like, I just make it up as I go along. If I don't know something, I might try to research it a little bit and see how others do it to get some ideas. And then I go ahead and I do it. And sometimes I do it and it's wrong. I go, well, don't do that. Like, don't work on the electrical when the power's still on. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Anyhow, my power's running out, so I'm going to sign out. I hope you're all staying warm wherever you are. And I just realized, Kira, I was looking up, your side of the world right now, and it's like summer over there. But then again, I'm like, hey, I'm in Florida, and yeah, even though it was cold last night, it will be cold tonight. It's like summer again today, so... Bodyguard wants to know if I will be adding any solar panels in the future. I might. I have solar panels right now on top of the RV. I'm thinking of potentially adding solar panels, possibly to the shed. What I'm thinking of doing is actually limited solar, like getting like maybe a 100 or 200 watt solar panel, and then just running a little power system and using it to power certain things. So the house might have multiple solar setups instead of one big one. And the reason for doing that is versatility and cheapness. By doing that, I don't have to run power cables everywhere. I can just hook it up to that building and have that building have its own solar. And this building right now, this building's taking solar from the RV, so there's a power line running between the two. But I'm thinking of getting its own solar to control lights and certain things. I might even put multiple solar. And you're like, well, isn't it expensive if you're going to have to buy all these multiple systems? Not if you build a small system. A solar panel, a charge controller, it's cheap. What I found is the cheap ones that they sell for $15 to $20 online, they work fine if you're building a small system. I'm going with a 12-volt system using an RV battery and a $15 to $20 charge controller. So for including the price of the battery and the solar panel, probably $200 to $250 to get everything working. And if I do that, one or two batteries on that bank should be enough to run power for the house, for the lights, maybe even the TV. During the daytime, it generates enough electricity. Matter of fact, if I got like 300 watts, maybe 450 watts, 400 watts or so, I could actually cook directly off that by running, the rice cooker. I'm out of power. I got to sign out. Phone's running out. It's going to shut off. I hope you guys stay well. Take care, everyone. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Bye-bye now.